I'm actually a first-generation college student, and I didn't grow up in an Auburn or Alabama family. And so when I started applying to schools, I actually applied to both. I was really taken aback by how people here at Auburn really come together for things that, are great for the university and things that are great for the state. I've always really had an interest in politics, and I think even beyond that, I was always really attracted to service-oriented things, and I don't think people always see where those meet up. But really, from my experience, that's really what politics is all about. It's supposed to be about serving your constituency and giving back to your community, and so that was something that I always, growing up, was really invested in. For women's studies, I think actually I took an Intro to Women's Studies course, and when I was taking that course, I became more interested in the topics that we were discussing, and we're talking about not just how women have been marginalized, but we're also just talking about the community as a whole and how we can kind of come together as a movement to solve a lot of these issues with people who are marginalized all across this country daily. And so I started to become more invested in those issues, and over time I just kept taking women's studies courses, and then my professor was like, I think you can get a minor in this now. And so I just kind of filled out the form, and then I was a women's studies minor. My experience with working with involvement ambassadors, which I was fortunate enough to serve as president over this past year for, was really a culmination of so many of my experiences here at Auburn. I had the opportunity to work with Camp Regal and work with freshman leadership programs, and then work with Senate. And I started to think about how other ways that I can get more Auburn students engaged and involvement, because I realized really what it had afforded me. And I think that that's an experience that every Auburn student should have before they leave. They should have an opportunity to connect to an organization and be really passionate about it. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of a freshman leadership group when I got here my first year, and then when I came back my sophomore year as an assistant director, that was really where I was in my first position where I had to be a leader. And so I was in a group with 45 freshmen where I was expected to be a part of a team that led that group each week from meeting to meeting, and we focused on a curriculum that was all about global leadership and servant leadership on an international scale. And so I really enjoyed being able to not only engage other freshmen in those issues and come up with kind of these innovative ways to talk about really difficult subjects, but also just getting to know so many freshmen who have kind of this desire to just serve Auburn or to come here and just hit the ground running. In that summer that I spent as a Camp Regal counselor, that really gave me the opportunity to, being a first-generation college student, see these people coming in the door and all of their fears and all of these things that they have, these preconceived notions that they have about what Auburn is, and not only dispel some of those, but also affirm all the positive things about this university. And really, we're the first faces that they are really getting to know, real Auburn students, with real Auburn experiences. One day, we're all going to be kind of going in our different paths, and it's never going to be anything like these 4 years again. So I would definitely advise every person that comes here to Auburn to really just soak up their time they have here at this university, because I think that is one of the best in the country by far. I'm Dillion Nettles. I'm majoring in political science, and I found my place in the College of Liberal Arts.